Tom Hanks praises the greatest country on earth.
In the exciting film The Post, everyone's friend Tom Hanks becomes a growling journalist who tries to tackle Richard Nixon. Steven Spielberg, Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks together on the credits of a film, as if the dream team of Hollywood has come together for the occasion.
And so it is in The Post, says Hanks, 61.
He could not let the chance to collaborate with the greatest director ever and the best film actress of all time. I cannot say that it was a dream that came true, he remarks, because I was terrified in advance.
The collaboration with Streep was the main reason for those nerves, Hanks says when we meet him in Los Angeles.
He and the multiple Oscar winner did not work together before.
It was memorable, says Hanks. We had 4-5 scenes together. Those were the most exciting and magical days I have ever experienced on a recording set.
Explosive file.
Another reason for his nervousness was the scenario.
The unveiling of the Pentagon Papers, the secret history written by government officials of Vietnam since 1945, is a familiar story for American students and students about political machinations to restrict free press and freedom of expression.
But the role of Katharine Graham has always been underexposed. While the paper's unveiling by newspaper The Washington Post had been impossible without Graham, publisher of the daily newspaper, played by Streep. Graham was called K by friends.
In the early 70s, she had just acted as a publisher, a title that no woman had ever worn before.
Graham had rolled into the job after her husband Phil, formerly the publisher, had died.
She was thrown into the deep.
The paper was about to go to the stock market, while enterprising reporters, Ben Bagdikian and his boss Ben Bradley, were just about to make the existence of the papers public.
As a lady of stature in a raw man's world, Graham had to decide whether the daily newspaper dared the publication, while the White House under President Richard Nixon did everything to keep the explosive file secret.
The Post is about the exciting weeks in which Graham influenced the course of the Vietnam War, American journalism and the presidency of Nixon.
Her partner in crime was Bradley, the growling editor-in-chief, played with love by Hanks.
The actor knew Bradley, deceased in 2014, personally.
He was also friends with Jason Robard, 1922 to 2000, who played Bradley in All the President's Men, the famous film about the Watergate scandal in which the Washington Post was already central.
Tom Hanks, a little bit bothering.
Besides the chance to work with Spielberg again and for the first time with Streep, that personal link was another reason to keep 2017 free for the film.
Hanks says he read the scenario a year ago. In the summer, the film was shot. In December he came out in the United States, a high turnover rate for a big film by a well-known Hollywood studio like 20th Century Fox.
The temptation to view the post as critical of on la lettera on the Trump era is great.
This parallel is unsustainable. Trump is not Nixon, the president who will resign later because of Watergate. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan are not comparable with Vietnam, and secret reports like the Pentagon Papers are not there now. Yet Hanks is constantly asked about the historical similarities and his view on the then and the present.
In feature films, Hanks is everyone's friend, solid, reliable, rarely surprising.
But during the conversation in Los Angeles he shows himself a little bit bothered and certainly not planning to satisfy foreign journalists with politically correct talk.
A French reporter tries to lure him out of the tent with a quote from TV series The Newsroom, in which a famous presenter is asked if America is the greatest country in the world.
The presenter responds well with a lamentation to the United States.
Hanks does not think about it.
Is America the greatest country?
Absolutely. I am American.
Why the greatest? We have the First Amendment, in which the freedom of speech, press freedom and freedom of religion are formulated, ed.
You have economic power blocks that threaten us, but what you cannot do in those countries is to read what you want, publish what you want, paint what you want. There the government comes along to close your radio station and destroy your printing presses.
If I were born in Toronto or Lyon, I would say Canada or France, but I was born in California.
And I say, this is the greatest country on earth. Point.
Not curious and poorly informed.
Trump is often described as a threat to press freedom and democracy.
Proof for that fear is lacking, and it is nonsense, says Hanks. No tyrant, no official, no religious leader, no business manager can stop you from saying and publishing what you want.
If the First Amendment is threatened, such as in 1970 and 1974, we can vote and respond.
If everyone votes, you get the government you want. If you do not vote, you get the government you deserve.
Hanks is ultimately not a political boy, he says.
He does not take the name Trump into his mouth.
Like many other actors and film and TV makers who do well outside of the progressive coastal areas, Hanks is watching his words.
After all, Trump voters also buy cinema tickets and Netflix subscriptions.
What I can say, says Hanks, is that people in our country are not curious and poorly informed about our history, principles and institutions. I think the current resident of the White House is one of those people.